Well, joining me in the studio is the political campaigner and the founder of the Save the Congo pressure group, Vava Tampa. A positive sign that an international service like MasterCard has expanded into Somalia?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this tells us two major issues, two major things. One is that finally international institutions in the economical sectors are now looking at Africa as a place of investment. So that's the first element. But crucially and significantly also, this is an indication that at least Somalia as a country, which only 3 years ago was under control of Al-Shabaab, is now emerging as a stable economy.
But of course, what this, tells us clearly is that it's not going to benefit everyone there, is it? I mean, it's just going to be a few people, and particularly those people who can actually afford it.
Well, Gerald, this is a starting point. We have to start somewhere. So this is point A, and hopefully in the next 5 years, the entire population of Mogadishu at the very least, and the entire Somali diaspora would have access to these financial securities.
But of course, things like mobile phones, ATMs, they've literally exploded across Africa, and what they've done is that they've bypassed the traditional banking systems. They're really checkbooks and all those kinds of things. I mean, most people are not using are using the counter, sort of the traditional banking system less, and actually doing more of, if you like, online banking. I mean, why do you think that has happened?
Africa finds itself in a really, really interesting point, which is only 30% of the population in Africa have access to some sort of banking system or have a bank account. However, you find over half of the population in Africa have access to mobile phones and all the features that mobile phones bring. So you have internet, and with all of that, they have ability essentially to have online banking, which makes life much easier for over half a million of people.
And of course that has created something of a revolution, because it's not just in banking. Farmers and all kinds of other sort of areas, other sort of areas of service are using mobile phones.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is the best next story in Africa, and the world now understands. Now, Africa, economically speaking, this is the biggest, the most growing economy in the world, but also this is the continent which is growing faster than any other part of the world. So the world understands, people with money, business people understand that if you want to make money in the future, you need to look at Africa.
And of course, China. You can't remove the Chinese equation in all of this, because the Chinese are the ones who invent a lot of these phones, well, certainly make these phones accessible very cheaply. And, a lot of the companies go there and produce them, which makes it a lot cheaper for most people to own them in Africa. And they're also increasing their presence there. Do you think that they will also be doing something in terms of technology across the continent?
The fascinating element is, you're absolutely right in terms of China making all these mobile phones and technology, but the fascinating element is that China remains focused only on minerals. China seems not to be interested in technology, as in sort of investing in technological Africa, or at the very least sort of interested in the business sectors in terms of banking system in Africa.
Collaterally the consumer market.
No, it is. Now, there is no doubt. But the vast amount, because another element in this equation is that Africa has this large and massive diaspora across the world, and the vast majority of that diaspora lives in Europe or the US or Canada or Australia. So there is a very small tiny minority in China, and because of that, when it comes to the banking system, the African continent is looking more towards the West.
Vava Tampa, thank you very much indeed.